Hello everyone, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry, episode 8. So last time, Anje, she finally opened the Book of Truth and she couldn't handle it. She didn't want to believe it and she jumped off a roof. So anyways, let us continue. I saw a shadow, which was apparently the driver, open an umbrella and come towards me.
ここはそなたの庭か?
Who's this? The shadow questioned me. Of course, I couldn't answer it.
そなたの庭ならば、私は謝らなければならないな。なるほど。このような良き天気の日には、昼寝としゃれ込みたくなるような素晴らしき庭だ。しかし、私の記憶が確かなら、
The shadow crouched down and looked into my face. It was a woman.
ここは天下の講堂だ。
So it was a Hachijo. I didn't notice. Sorry.
そなたはひき肉になりたいのか？あるいはすでにひき肉なのか？どちらなのか教えてほしい。
I clenched my chest. I felt I needed to answer somehow and communicate my intentions. So finally, I managed to let out a short groan escape my lips.
なるほど。まだひき肉ではなかったようだな。
And that was how I met Ikuko. What? Okay. No, I'm kind of confused a little bit, I guess. Wait, wasn't it Enji?
非常に衰弱しております。
Also, this is not... Oh, I don't know. Is this Enji or not?
あと、記憶障害の可能性が高いですな。
Yeah, they're wording it very carefully here. Saying the patient's body instead of her, or if it's another person, him.
CT を見ないことにはわかりませんが、脳にダメージがある可能性もあります。
Brain damage.
ダメージ程度で済んで大いに結構でした。あそこであのまま寝ていれば、それどころでは済まなかったでしょうから。
ですな。いずれにせよ、大きな病院で一度見せた方がいいでしょ
う。ありがとう先生。この件は内密に。これはわずかですが、往診のお車代に。
わざわざ他言はしませんが。
Wait, so this was her place? No, what I mean is, I didn't expect her place outside to be like that. Yeah, because this is the same room. Okay. So it looks like a place in the middle of the forest? Yeah, not in the city or, for example.
いや、こんなにたくさんいただくわけには。
In the end, the doctor took the money and swore to keep quiet about the matter. Eventually, Hachijo returned.
おや、起きていたのですか。具合はいかがです？
Okay, they're not really wanting this person to talk. I nodded weakly, letting her know that it wasn't so bad for now. But where is this place? A room I have absolutely no memory of in a house I don't remember at all. And first and foremost, here's a woman I've never seen.
まずは私の自己紹介から。私は八条育子。
Okay.
親しげに育子と呼んでくれても、他人行儀に八条さんと呼んでくれても構いません。
So this one is okay. Hachijo Ikuko. Okay. Hachijo Ikuko.
八条家はこの辺りではちょっと知られた大地主の名家。出来のいい兄たちと違い、私はどこかずれた変わり者。いろいろと悪さが過ぎまして、とうとう親たちからも愛想をつかされて追い出され、今はここで蟄居をさせられています。趣味は推理小説を読むことと、そして書くこと。年は秘密の独身女。心は女子でも、そろそろそれを語るには おこがましいかなという年頃です。
With the haze my mind was in, it was extremely hard to make out what she was talking about. However, I was able to pick up on the fact that she was trying to cheer me up.
それで、そなたの名前は？
My name. Logically, I know that being a human, I must have a name. And I do have the feeling that I indeed have a name. However, no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, it just made my head hurt.
何か名前以外に覚えていることは？
Who am I? My head. No, even my heart was a mess of a torn flesh. And I couldn't remember a thing, not even who or what I was. But I must remember. I had some kind of purpose, or maybe a mission? In order to remember that, I first have to remember who I am. Who am I? What is my name? Where was I born and what was my birthday? I need to remember something, anything.
年？私の年は秘密です。
18.
私が18歳に見える？
She was so happy when this person said 18. I'm 18.
ああ、そなたの年齢ですか。
Hey, this is definitely not Angie.
やれやれ、世辞が過ぎると思いました。
No, I got confused in the beginning because it said driver, right? But this is a different person. This is, I guess, the real one who's been telling Hachijo the stories and all of that. Yes. Like, how do I say this? The ghostwriter? The one behind it? So when are they gonna, like, reveal it? So my guess for this character, the one behind, is... I mean, we have two big characters in this game. Like, technically the biggest for the main characters itself. Butler and Beatrice, right? So, it might be Butler. It might be Yasu. Who knows? But it's probably one of the two. When I asked myself how old I was, the number 18 floated into my mind. Because technically... back then, if you put it in the Rokinjima time, when it happened, yes, Butler 18, Yasu, I mean, you could say 18 or 19, I forgot because the age that she was using, like it's different between the characters, I forgot, but yeah. To be honest, the number 18 felt a bit out of place. My mind felt much more younger than that, and my pathetic body felt much more older.
なるほど。そなたは18歳というわけだ。そしてそれ以上のことは何も覚えていないと。
I nodded weakly. I never knew that knowing nothing about yourself could make you feel this powerless.
では、そなたが自分の名を思い出すまで、18という年にちなみ、18と書いて、東野と読む名前を与えましょう。八条東野。
And for the Toya name? I mean, I guess for... How do I say this? Like when I watch shows and then there's a Toya there, it's usually male. Yeah, usually male name. Toya.
いかがです？なかなかかっこいいです。自画自賛。
Hachijo Ikuko gave a satisfied laugh. From then on, I took the name Hachijo Toya. My inability to move my body was apparently due to a traffic accident. Okay. But yeah, how did this person ended up here though? If, yeah, what happened with the island and then this person ended up here? How? On that day, I had been hit by a car and Ikuko had picked me up from where I lay on the street. I mean, you could say this person like washed up on, let's say, the mainland, correct? And then, yeah, he got hit by a car. I mean, you could say that, right? Because yeah, the side of the road, for example, you get washed up in the mainland and you're, let's say, groggy, confused with what has happened. And then, let's say, it's nighttime and then you didn't notice that there was a car there and you got hit. If she hadn't hit the brakes, she probably would have driven straight onwards, thinking she'd run over a dead dog or something. Later on, perhaps rudely, I suspected that the one who hit me might have been Ikuko herself. Most likely, yeah, most likely. That's why she said, we gotta keep this off the books. She said to the doctor, right? She was, what do you call this? She needs to hide this because people will find out that, oh, you actually hit someone. But when I saw her completely undamaged front bumper, I gave up on that theory. But then again, maybe she hit you, not that strong though, yeah. Maybe. Hachijo Ikuko lived in a small but lovely mansion on the top of a small hill in a village with a view of the sea. She also owned a hill behind her and was more than capable of enjoying the four seasons in privacy. As time passed slowly, my rehabilitation continued and my ability to move improved little by little. However, it seemed I really did suffer some form of brain damage. Finding out who I was looked like it would be a very, very difficult task. In the beginning, when I couldn't bear not knowing my identity, my head often hurt so much it felt as though it would explode. However, as I slowly accepted the fact that I was a new person with a new name Hachijo Toya, the headaches became less frequent. That whole time, no memories returned to me except the fact that I had been 18. However, I wasn't able to remember anymore, unable even to be sure that 18 was my true age. And eventually, I stopped trying to remember my former self.
Ohayo, Toya.
So I wonder what was the trigger here, right? Maybe he saw something in the TV, like, oh, Rokinjima, and then it triggered his memories, right? Maybe.
昨日はひどい嵐でしたが、よく眠れましたか?
I had some trouble falling asleep, so I decided to read your manuscript.
おやおや。
They really are not giving a voice to this character here. They don't want to reveal it right now who it is. He or she.
どこまで読んでくれたのですか?
I finished it.
これは驚いた。あの量の原稿用紙を一晩で読み切ったというのですか?
I was kind of surprised too. Once I got into it, I'd finished before I knew it. It was like I was just scheming it, or maybe like I was taking in each page with just a glance.
どうやらそなたは速読の心得があるようですね。して、どうでしたか? 感想は。
I liked it a lot. Still, if you don't explain that part about the ocean currents a bit more clearly, it might be a little unfair for a detective novel. Oh, but I thought it was great that you had the foreshadowing with the ring right there at the beginning. After I finished, I had to go back to the beginning and slap myself for being so easily tricked. I think giving people that feeling is what detective novels do best. Did I say something to offend you? If I did, you have my apologies.
いや、なぜ謝るのです。驚いています。そなたの的確な感想は称賛に値するでしょう。そなたはどうやら批評家か、あるいは推理小説作家の才能があるらしい。
A detective novel writer, a critic. From across the fog of oblivion, I seem to remember myself fighting and arguing about mysteries or something like that. That way of fighting, which I must have learned in the past, sent a surge of excitement through me. Mystery. Fighting. My head hurt. I took a painkiller and swallowed it with fresh water brought up from the well. Who am I, really? But no matter how much I thought, I couldn't remember. From what I've been told, the frequency of the headaches might be lessened by brain surgery, but there was no guarantee that it would do my memory any good. I mean, would you get brain surgery for that? I mean, I don't know. Ikoko said that she would let me have surgery if I wanted it. However, I refused. Even if I can't remember it, the real me is still there, sleeping inside my head. I was scared that the surgery might harm that me somehow. So, do you mean surgery as mean like nah. I was thinking like lobotomizing. No. By now, I've gotten used to dealing with the headaches. As long as I don't force myself to remember the past, the headaches don't torment me every day. So, bit by bit, I became free of the headaches and got used to my life as Hachijo Toya. Gradually, my interest shifted from myself to Ikoko. Hachijo Ikoko. A very strange woman. First off, she was apparently the daughter of a very well-off family, just as she had said. However, she was considerably eccentric, and the various mischievous incidents she spoke of had apparently gotten her within an inch of being disowned. As a result, she had given this house and had been ordered to live here quietly and alone. She had never been a particularly social person, so she happily accepted this new state of affairs, living however she pleased with servants to take care of her. She had no friends. No one ever came to visit. When I wasn't around, she would only talk to an old black cat she kept as a pet named Burn. I don't know her real age. She doesn't seem to be too old to marry yet, but with an isolated life like this, she isn't likely to meet people. She sometimes says that she just hasn't met anyone with a trouble, but I think she's already given up on marriage. Her everyday life was very simple. She would either read through the many detective novels that were brought to her or else write detective novels herself. At first, I thought she was some novelist at a private retreat, plugging away at a new book. However, the manuscript she finished just ended up clipped together in a pile. With me as the sole exception, I didn't look like she ever let anyone read them. A novelist is someone who writes novels for people to read. So I figured you could hardly call her a novelist when she kept writing novels no one would ever see. Ikoko-san, why don't you ever show this to anyone?
そなたには見せています。無論、出来のマシなものに限りますが。
Haven't you ever thought of sending one to some publishing company? It's a waste otherwise when your works are so interesting.
私の作品など、プロには通じぬ。一度送ったことがあるが、さっぱりダメでした。私には分かっています。こんなもの、素人の道楽です。
I don't think amateur is a fitting word for someone who's so well versed in detective novels from all times and all across the world.
大飯ぐらいが良き料理人になれるわけでもない。推理小説を読み散らすことが良き推理小説家であることを保証するわけでもない。
I mean, I guess.
そういうことです。だからこんなものは道楽に過ぎません。
Is it really fun to write novels that you won't show to anyone?
かつては楽しかった。かつては。
What about now?
そなたに感想を得ることが楽しい。とりあえず、一章を書き終えました。お茶を用意させるので、また読んで感想を聞かせてもらえませんか？
Saying this with a smile, Ikoko thrust a pile of manuscript paper at me. I'm convinced that whether you read detective novels or write them, they're boring if you're all on your own. You can only find something really precious when you share that world with someone else. I mean, it's much more better if you can talk with someone else about your novels and stuff, right? Not even your own novel, but technically stories itself. Like, it's nice to talk about them. Like, even if you talk about it repeatedly, it's nice. It feels good, right? Like talking with a game or a game you like, a movie you like, a show you like. It's nice and it's much better if you can have someone that has the same interest as you. Headache again.
どうよ
So yeah, I think this is Butler. But then again, because yeah, detective novels, right? Him and then that is what they shared with Butler and Yasu, right? Both of them like mystery detective novels.
しっかり今頭痛薬を
Maybe I need one more confirmation. Yeah, one more. I'm fine. I'm more interested in this manuscript. I can wait for the new chapter. The seasons have passed. Together with Ikuko in this town whose name I didn't even know, we spent our days debating detective novels and talking about ideas for new plots. At a glance, they may have appeared to be stale and unproductive days. However, Hachijo Toya found satisfaction with this new life. With this new life. No his, no her. Nighttime.
「かようにして我が黒首と奇譚は幕を閉じるのである」「亮
What a dramatic flourish of her pen. Ikuko signified that her manuscript was now complete.
どうであるかそなたのプロットを生かしつつ最後に辻子の秘伝をもう少し厚くしてみました。
I think it's very good. I'd say the last farewell is sad enough to make it moving as a story, not just a reasoning puzzle.
当夜のプロットがあればこそです。この作品の前には私がこれまで書き溜めた原稿などちり紙の価値さえない。書きながらも私が世界で一番最初の読者であることの興奮。こんな経験は初めてです。
I just mentioned some ideas. You're the one who turned them into such a fascinating story, Ikuko-san. At some point, she roped me in as well, and I too started my journey in the world of writing detective novels. Apparently, the old me had some talent for mysteries and detective novels and the like, and my talent seemed to be of fairly unorthodox kind. I tried turning famous mysteries from across the world on their head, twisting those ideas into something new. However, a few ideas aren't enough to make a book. No meal is complete if all you can do is chop up vegetables. Thanks to Ikuko's writing, a skill she had built up over many years, my ideas were transformed into a work of fiction. In this work, The Strange Tale of Kurokubi Island, the two of us merged the best of our respective personalities. And though I hate to brag, it had turned into a masterpiece that we could show to anyone without a shame.
もしもし、書斎にシャンパンを持ってきてください。グラスはあなたの分も。これまでで一番の作品が仕上がりました。お祝いしましょう。
Ikuko called for some champagne over the internal phone line. Joined by the servant who had happened to be working that day and the cat Burn, we raised our glasses high and toasted our accomplishments. Ikuko-san, I have an idea if you don't mind.
聞こう。そなたの話すアイデアなら、シャワーとトイレ中でなければ、いつだって耳を貸そう。
Why don't we try submitting our book? I've never read anything this interesting before. I'm sure lots of people will want to read it.
そうでしょうか。過去にもそう思い投稿しましたが、結果は。
I believe in your talent, Ikuko-san. What about you?
私とて、そなたの才能を確信しています。
Then it's decided. To Ikuko-san's big debut.
当夜のメジャーデビューを祈って。
We clinked our glasses once more. And on it went. Okay, give me the trigger here. Trigger on how Hachijo Toya wrote about Rokinjima. We must have had way too much to drink. Before I knew it, I must have passed out on the sofa. There was a blanket covering me. Ikuko-san must have put it there. The lights were out in the study, but it wasn't dark. The computer's monitor was glowing. Outside, it had started to rain. It reminded me of the day Ikuko-san found me and took me in. Because of that, whenever it rains, I find myself wondering who I was, and I usually get headaches. So I wasn't sure whether the pain was because of the rain or because I drank too much. Ikuko-san, turn on the lights. Using a computer in the dark is bad for your eyes. Is that a computer? No, it's a, what do you call that again? Typewriter.
おや、起こしてしまいましたか。
No, I slept well. I feel refreshed now. I turned on the light and looked out through a gap in the curtains. As I thought, it was the sort of pouring rain that always reminded me of that day. It's raining pretty hard out there. The wind looks pretty strong too. I hope the rain gutters don't get clogged with leaves again.
先日掃除をさせましたから、当分は大丈夫でしょう。
Her answer sounded a little abstracted. Apparently her attention was absorbed by the computer. You've been pretty hooked by that computer lately, Ikuko-san. Did you find an interesting article or something?
バカバカしいとは思いつつも、なかなか面白いのです。ほら、例の六軒島事件。
Rokinjima, there it is.
六軒島ミステリーの話は先日したでしょ？これが今、ネットでブームになっているのです。それをめぐる議論や考察、中でも義書が実に面白い。義書というのは、付近の島に流れ着いた後宮マリアの署名のあるボトルメッセージが他にもあったと仮定して書いたもので。
Ikuko kept showing off her knowledge of the subject. However, a huge bell was clanging inside my head. Okay, so it's affecting this person now. The noise was so great that I thought my head would slip open. Or split, I mean. Unable to tell what was the floor and what was the ceiling, I crumpled and clutched at my head.
Toya! 大丈夫ですか?
My head, it hurts. The Rokinjima explosion accident. The many disquieting rumors surrounding it. The scheming of the relatives who were after Ushirimiya Kinzu's vast wealth and the hidden gold. And the truth? Ushirimiya Eva, the sole survivor, said nothing. Eventually, everything would be inherited by the granddaughter Ushirimiya Anje, who escaped harm because she was absent on that day. Anje, Ushirimiya Anje. I am Ushirimiya. No good, my head's getting split open. Here we go. George, Rudolph, Nanjo-san, Shannon. Incomprehensible scenes pierce my eyelids from the inside like blaze of light. Rosa, Kraus. I forgot Genji. Just what I'm looking at, or just what am I looking at? Who are these people calling to me but not by my name Toya? Jessica, Ava, Uncle Hideyoshi, Goda, Maria. Who am I? Who are these people? I forgot about Kumasawa, sorry. What is his memory? Help me, Ikuko. Someone else's memory is hurting me. My head is splitting. Natsuhi, Kanon, Kirie, Kinzo, Beatrice. So I think this is Butler now. Yeah, I think this is Butler. Because they didn't even show Butler even once. Yeah, they didn't show Butler. They showed Shannon, they showed Cannon, they showed the portrait, but not Butler. I could hear the sorrowful wind, or sound of wind. And that must be rain. Who was I again? I am Ushiromiya.
Enji! Enji!
His voice is a little bit deeper now.
お願いよ。返事をして。
Wait, what? No, this is not Butler though. Voices calling to me. Dad and Mom. It can't be. In 1986 on Rokinjima, Mom and Dad.
エンジ、しっかりしろ
What?
お父さんの声が聞こえるか
お願いだから返事をして。返事。
Dad, Mom. I'll say it out loud. Dad, Mom.
エンジエンジ、よかった。
I could feel my body being lifted up firmly and hugged roughly. Mom and Dad were hugging me. My eyelids have been open for a while now. I could feel the light slowly returning to my eyes. Just like your eyes get used to the dark, my eyes get used to the light, and bit by bit, the scene around me came into view. However, it was an unusual sight which seemed to be very far away. My body was being hugged by Mom and Dad. Dad was sniffling his face covered with tears. There were tears in Mom's eyes too as she held me tight. It was so strong that it hurt a bit. They held me with all their strength, me, the bad kid who wasn't obedient, who always had an excuse, and who always tried to do the opposite of what her parents said. They held me tight to make sure I didn't head down the wrong path. As my eyes adjusted, I could see the other people besides my parents. Okay, so I guess we shifted now to Angie because I remember last time Angie jumped and now she awoke here. Okay, so it's over for Hachijo Toya again. Come on. Everyone was there. George, Onichan, Jessica, Onechan, and Maria Onechan. My uncles and aunts. Even Sakutaro was there. And there was the witch Virgilia and Ronove and... me.
ここは。そなたは幸運だった。偶然にも虚無の海の波間を漂うそなたを見つけたのだ。ひどい姿であったぞ。そなた自身がその姿を思い出すまでに随分と時間をかけた。
ベアトリーチェ。じゃあここは。
黄金鏡だ。
So you're telling me she died?
ここでお父さんたちはみんなお前が帰ってくるのを待ってたんだぞ。
絶対にあなたは帰ってくると信じてた。
Did I come home because I was supposed to? I've gone back to how I'm supposed to, and now...
いや、お前は帰ってきたんだ。
そうよ。あなたが私たちのところへ帰りたいと願ったから、ここへ帰ってこられたのよ。
お父さん、お母さん、私は。
今は何も言わなくていいわ。大変な冒険をしてきたわね。あなたは一人ぼっちで大変な冒険をしてきたわ。
これで分かっただろう。もう忘れないだろう。
I understand, Dad.
ここがお前の帰るべきところだってことだ。
When I gave that answer, Dad and Mom hugged me again. Hot tears fell onto my face. They were Dad's and Mom's tears.
無事で、とはとても言えない姿だったけれど。よかったわ。帰ってきて。
エバ、おばさん。
私のことをいくらでも憎んでくれていいから。だから、お父さんとお母さんに100万回キスをしてあげて。あなたのことを、いつも思っているみんなにも、キスをしてあげて。
エバ、おばさん。
あなたのもう一人のお母さんに、どうかただいまと言ってあげて。
Mom gave me a push from behind and I stumbled forwards, towards my other mother.
エバ、お母さん。
エンジェちゃん。
あの日、私がそう呼べていれば、私は何も謝ることがなかったかもしれない。私たちは新しい世界を二人で生み出せたかもしれない。
もういいのよ。エンジェちゃんは帰ってきてくれたわ。だから、もう何も言わなくていいのよ。
お母さん、お母さん。
おかえり、エンジェちゃん。あなたは、私の可愛い娘よ。
エヴァお母さん、あなたはいつまでも、そして最後まで私の一番の味方だった。
The two of them hugged each other quietly, burying their faces in the other's shoulders and sobbing. That was a nice scene between them. Yeah, Angie calling her mom. The truth wasn't worth anything at all. In the first place, the truth is always in the past. The point of the future isn't to learn what happened in the past. What really matters is whether I can truly live and prosper in the truth that is the now. If I truly live and prosper, that is the truth. Back when I only ever tried to see the truth of the past, I was nothing more than a ghost in that trap past. Since that time, I haven't lived a single day. Now, I truly understand. This is what the real truth is.
私は生きるわ。そしてどれほどみんなに愛されていたかを思い出したわ。
Because I was young and selfish, I didn't even remember until now. The kind grandpa who always spoiled me, the entertaining aunts and uncles, all the kind and gentle servants. It was always warm. And yet because I was young and cruel, I never tried to remember any of that. Everyone got distorted by my irresponsible imagination, and I completely forgot the truth. Now I can remember clearly and I understand that Halloween quiz party certainly was an illusion. It never happened. However, didn't we do all kinds of fun things when the relatives gathered? Things that were no more or less fun than that party. But yeah, honestly, like if you look at the family itself, I think they were just okay, I would guess. Like the problem is they had all the problems with money, and money is the root of all problems, right? But yeah, that basically was the one that broke them, is the problems with money. But if, let's say, there was no money problems or they didn't talk about it, I guess they treated each other right. Sure, like for example, they showed us some scenes where Like, for example, like Ava, right? She looks down on people, but I would say at least on how they treated maybe the children or whatever. Like, it was fine, I would say. It was fine, yeah. Like, everyone is not perfect. Yes, everyone has faults. But, yeah. And for the first time since the start of the game, I went up to each and every one of them to greet them, thank them, and apologize. To thank Grandpa for always pampering me. To thank my aunts and uncles. To thank the cousins for always playing with me even though I was so selfish. And I think and apologize to the illusions. I think I said something horrible to Sakutaro once in the past. And to Maria One-chan. Yeah, you said Sakutaro was not real.
マリアお姉ちゃんは本当の魔女だったんだわ。
マリアは最初から魔女だよ。エンジェだって一度はその領域に近づけたのにね。
ううん。本当の意味で分かってなんかいなかった。かわいそうなマリアお姉ちゃんのかわいそうな魔法。そんな風にしか見ていなかった。だから私には幸せのかけらが拾えない。見つけられない。かつてお姉ちゃんは私にそう言ったわ。
仕方ないよ。宇宙は二人で作らないと。マリアにはベアトがいたけれど、エンジェは一人ぼっちだった。
いいえ、もしエヴァおばさんをお母さんと呼べていたら、私は二人だったわ。きっとマリアお姉ちゃんと同じ魔法で、私は新しい世界を踏み出せたわ。
すべてわらわのせいだ。わらわが面白半分に投じたボトルメッセージが、そなたの未来に歪みを生み、そなたを蝕んだ。わらわにもその責任がある。
I mean, that is true though. Like the message bottles that people found, right? Were like different stories about what happened in Rokkenjima. And then, yeah, you could see like bad things happening there. Or in the stories at least. That, yeah, distorted the view on people.
まったくね。あんたのボトルメッセージのせいだわ。
Like, for example, in this one part, this person is bad. In this one part, this other person is the bad one.
そのせいで、あんたの真似をした偽書を書く連中が現れて、どんどんおかしな話が膨らんでいった。
So, yeah, now you know nothing about who these people are or how they are basically because of the amount of different stories about them. However, the message bottle thrown away by Beato did not name a specific person as the culprit. One of the forgers wrote a plausible forgery that had Ushinomiya Eva as the culprit and spread it like wildfire. I mean, that's the easiest one, I guess, to spread, or people would maybe believe it much more easier because, yes, at the end of the day, Eva was the one who survived. And if you can make a story out of it that she was the one who did it, people will believe, yeah, people will believe it much more, right? Because, yeah, she was the only one who was alive. And then she gained everything when everyone was gone. A lot. She gained a lot. Yeah, everyone died, but she gained a lot with that. Even though I should have known better than anyone else that it was impossible, I accepted it in the end. But yeah, you accepted it because you were a kid. You were a little kid. Kids are easily influenced, of course.
ベアトのせいじゃないわ。周りの誰がどんな邪推を重ねようとも、私の中の真実はたった一つのはずだった。なのに、安易に私はみんなの温かな思い出を手放し、心を彼らに明け渡してしまった。
いやいや、そもそもわらわがボトルメッセージなど投じなければ、未来の六軒島はおかしな妄想の種にされることもなかったのだ。すべてはわらわのせいだ。
そうね。それもそうだわ。やっぱりあんたのせいだわ。
素直にそう言われると、カチンとくるぞ。わらわのせいだけでなく、やはりそなたも悪いのだ。
そうね。あんたも悪いし、私も悪いわ。でも、お互い罵り合うのも馬鹿らしい。だって、私は未来の魔女。あなたは過去の魔女。未来に生きる私は、その魔法で未来を築くべきなのよ。私たちは、共に何らかの責任を負うけれど、それを責める資格はどちらにもないわ。
エンジェなら、マリアージュ・ソルシエールの教えをきっと理解してくれると思ってたよ。
そうね。私はマリアージュ・ソルシエールの最後の一人として、お姉ちゃんの魔法を伝える義務があるわ。
マリアの魔法はみんなを幸せにする魔法なの。
うん。清らかなる魔法も邪悪なる魔法も思いのままよ。
本当ね。魔法は心の持ち方で全く違う姿に変わる。正しい導きがなければ正しい魔法は使えないわ。そして正しい魔法は人を幸福に導くわ。
素晴らしいことです。人を幸せにすることこそが魔女が魔法を振るう唯一の理由なのです。その教えをようやく我らが無限の魔女の系譜の最後の魔女に伝えることができて、私は嬉しいですよ。
悪かったな。全然伝えてなくてよ。
未来の魔女、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。マリアージュ・ソルシエールは、今こそ、あなたの著名を解く。ウリュー！エンジェはきっと帰ってきてくれるって信じてたよ。おめでとうございます。
あなたたちと共に旅をした日に、私は一度は理解をしたつもりでいたのに。ごめんね。本当にごめんね。
魔女は二人でなければ宇宙を生み出せぬ。
What music are they using here? Steady pace. Okay.
未来のそなたは一人だが、本当に大丈夫か？
ええ、大丈夫。私はもう一人じゃないもの。私は生きるわ。みんなと一緒に。そして未来に生きる。マリアージュ・ソルシエールの魔法を伝えるために生き抜くことを誓うわ。マリアお姉ちゃんの魔法は私でさえ救ってくれたもの。魔法を必要としている人たちはもっと大勢いる。それを正しく伝え、一人でも多くの人々を救うことが、マリアージュ・ソルシエールの最後の魔女の、私の使命なんだわ。
それは実現できそうか？
もちろんよ。その私の先代様、エヴァ・ベアトリーチェがたっぷりと築き上げてくれた黄金の魔法があるもの。私はそれをすべて継承しているわ。
私がもう少し健康で長生きできてたら、全部使い切っちゃうつもりだったんだけどね。
As Angie laughed, tears poured from her eyes again. Everyone surrounded Angie with their kind, warm smiles. This was good, but Like, I wanted more, I would say. Yeah, because it was only Maria and Beatrice. How about the other characters? Okay, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see. Well, it's not over yet, so we'll find out. Butler stood alone in the rose garden maze, letting the rain quietly fall on him. After searching for some time, Angie found him.
お兄ちゃん、
Angie was feeling guilty, sensed anger in her brother's expression. So she thought he was going to hit her. So she shut her eyes. However, her brother touched her softly. He patted her head gently.
な。真実なんて大したもんじゃなかっただろ。
うん。お兄ちゃんはこんなにも温かな世界でずっと私の帰りを待っててくれたのに、私だけがずっと背を向けていたから。
お前は真実を知ってしまった。
うん。
だから誰かが生きて帰ってくるかもしれないっていう奇跡や希望は、でもお前にはもう未来を生きるための新しい希望や使命があるな。
お兄ちゃんがその温かな希望を守ってくれてた。それを私が自ら開いて逃がしてしまった。パンドラの箱より始末が悪いわ。私は知る必要のない真実も、そして希望までもすべて逃がしてしまって、すべてを空っぽにしてしまったのだから。
いいさ、開けちまったなら仕方ねえさ。それで空っぽなら後腐れがなくていいじゃねえか。下手な希望はかえってトゲになることもあるしな。
Butler laughed heartily. Then, with that same smile on his face, he told her,
俺たちはもう死んでる。
Damn, we are already dead.
ひょっとしたら生きてるかもしれないって希望がお前の12年間を生きる糧にしてくれた。
I mean, you could say that, for example, earlier, the one with Ikuko, right? The Hachijos. The Hachijo Toya. I mean, you could say that we're already dead. Butler is already dead. And, yeah, he has a new persona now as Hachijo Toya. I mean, we haven't really seen him yet, I guess. Like, yeah, we saw how he met Ikuko, but that was it for now. As if he's gonna return to his Ushiromiya name, we don't know that yet, but probably not, because if he had returned, and then Angie would have known already, right? But no, so I guess, I mean, you could say that, yeah, Ushiromiya, Butler, and all of their relatives are already dead.
それはもうこれでおしまいだ。きれいさっぱり全部なしだ。
わかってる。これからの私は新しい人生に踏み出すわ。
ベアとは六軒島を猫箱に閉ざし、次の魔女のエヴァおばさんはその猫箱の蓋を生涯守った。その次の魔女のお前はその蓋を開けちまったがだからってなんだってんだ。過去の真実なんてどうでもいいことじゃねえか。
ええ、私はこれから真に生きる。そして自分だけの真実を結実するわ。
頑張れよ。マリアージュ・ソルシエールの最後の魔女。マリアの魔導書を読んだぜ。あれはとてもいいことを書いた素晴らしい本だ。 聖書だって翻訳がいる。なら、マリアの魔導書にだって翻訳がいるだろう。お前がそれを翻訳するんだ。そして、かつてのお前と同じ境遇の子供たちに伝えてやれ。それが、お前の、新しき未来の魔女の使命だ。俺はいない。でも、お前の後ろに、いつだっていて、見守ってるからな。
知ってるわ。お兄ちゃんだけじゃないわ。みんなも一緒よ。
俺もみんなも、ずっとずっと永遠に、お前を愛してる。それを忘れるな。
忘れないわ。絶対。永遠に。
Angie leapt into Butler's chest and sobbed. Humans are sad creatures who can learn but not unlearn. She had already learned. It may have been a cruel, terrifying, merciless thing, capable of destroying even the miracle called hope. However, there was still one tiny fragment left gripped in her hand. Her family's love. If she can just remember that and hold it tight, then surely Angie will live on. She'll be able to stop before taking that single step into nothingness.
それに、六軒島の猫箱は、まだ完全に開かれたわけじゃない。お前が中身を覗いちまっただけの話だ。だからお前が、自ら蓋となれ。そして今度はお前が、猫箱の中のみんなを守るんだ。俺や親父やキリエさん、いとこのみんなや、おじさんたちおばさんたち、じいさまや、使用人のみんな、幻想の住人のみんなをな。
うん。今度は私が、みんなを守らなきゃ。
なら、それは急いだ方がいいんじゃない？
Lambda. The sound of popcorn being eaten rang out from beyond a rose bush. It was Lambda Delta.
あんたも知ってると思うけど、ベルンはもうじき、一なる真実の書をパーティーで大公開するわ。会場には、天国から地獄から、異界から別世界から、あらゆる世界の面々が集まってる。そこで中身を公表されたら、もう何もかも手遅れよ。
私、行くわ。ベルンカステルに、あの鍵を渡してしまった。私の責任だわ。私が行って、取り返してくる。
図書の都にか。しかし、入る方法がない。あそこには結界があるんだ。
あいつがこれをくれたの。これがあれば、自由に出入りできるって。バカなやつね。私を捨てるとき、回収を忘れたんだわ。
Angie fished through her pocket and there was a jingling sound. It was a bell with a blue ribbon tied to it.
それよ。招待状と引き換えに渡される図書の都の臨時入館証。それがあれば、とりあえず一人は図書の都に乗り込めるわね。まあ、かけらの海を誰かが送ってくれればの話だけど。
ラムダデルタ、私を図書の都に連れてって。それが私の責任の取り方だわ。私が一なる真実の書の公開を食い止める。
本気で言ってんの？あそこは化け物中の化け物の服までよ。ベルンの庇護を失ったあんたなんて、ハエ以下のハムシ扱い。ベチッと叩いて潰されておしまいよ。
The bell was snatched from Angie's hands.
ラムダデルタ、そこには俺が行こう。お前は、俺を送ってくれるだけでいい。 どうせ俺は猫箱の中にしか存在できない虚無の存在だ。だがエンジェは未来に生きなくちゃならない。そしてお前だって未来ある存在だ。だから俺が行く。俺には何も失うものなんてないんだからな。
いいえ、これは私の責任。そして私のけじめ。私が自らの手でやらなきゃ未来は何も変わらない。
NJ tried to snatch the key from Butler's hand, but Butler had no intention of giving it up. The two of them were grimly serious, but from the sidelines it looked like an ordinary squabble between two close siblings. Lambda Delta watched this conversation and shrugged. If she just took one of them to the City of Books, she wouldn't have to make any enemies and there was no risk to her. All she cared about was which one would make the story more interesting. Nothing else. But then she finally noticed.
ストップ。あんたたち、ちょっとストップ、ストップ。
何よ、後にしてよ。
今兄弟で大切な話をしてるんだ。
まずあんたたち、その組み合ってる手を解きなさい。鈴はバトラが持ってるのね。バトラ、跳ねてみて。
跳ねる？こうか。
次、エンジェ、跳ねてみて。
なんで私まで。
Wait, so they got two bells to, what do you call that again?
どうして？
If Butler was holding the bell, where did its sound come from? Angie hurriedly searched through her pockets. When she did, another blue ribbon bell came out of a different pocket than the first one.
それ、これと同じ鈴だよな。
そんな。どうして2つ？私は1つしかもらわなかったわよ。
どうしてかなんか知らないわ。でもとにかくあんたは図書の都に入れる鈴を2つ持っている。よってあんたたちの仲睦まじいやりとりをこれ以上見ている必要がなくなったわけ。
The pair of them gripped their bells and looked at each other.
最初から今回のゲームはあんたたち2人のものだわ。ただ対決するプレイヤーには若干の変更があったみたいね。あんたたち2人が競い合うゲームじゃない。猫箱をめぐって蓋を閉ざそうとするバトラとエンジェとそれを開こうとするベルンとの戦いだわ。エンジェはベルン側からバトラ側にチームを変更した。それだけの話。
ラムダデルタ、俺たちを図書の都へ連れて行ってくれ。
分かってるわよね。連れてくだけよ。あとは今度こそ感激者に徹するからね。あんたたちが図書の都で何をどう戦ってどうベルンにコテンパンにされるかをじっくりたっぷり間近で感激してるだけだからね。
ラムダデルタ、ありがとう。
Okay, that's that, I guess. But yeah, this one was one of the best, I guess, parts in a while. Yeah, no joke. That's why I said that I kind of like it when it's more of just talking between the characters. Like, look at this, right? Look at this episode that we have right now. Okay, so let me take a break here. But yeah, look at the episode we got right now from earlier from Hachijo, Ikuko, and Toya earlier. And then we shifted to Angie there, having a very nice conversation with Ava, with Maria, with Beatrice. But I wanted it to have more, I guess, for Angie. If it had been with all the characters, that would have been much more better. Not just the both, not just, yeah, the pair of them, I suppose. But yeah, I guess for the most important ones, it's gonna be like for Ava. And then, yeah, the characters like she has a connection to, I guess, like fully connected. I mean, she has her mom and dad and then Butler, but yeah, for Ava, she was living with Ava even though the relationship was pretty bad. And then for Maria, her reading Maria's journal, her diary, connected to her in a way. But I wanted all of them, I guess. All of them to talk. Would have been nice. But yeah, that's that. And this has been one of the best, I guess, parts of this episode so far. After like the battle scenes that we got, that was pretty unnecessary. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty unnecessary. We didn't need those battles there because the way they were talking about the battles, they were just talking about the other episodes again, right? Like episode 1, episode 2. They were talking about all that stuff. I mean, you don't really need to talk about that anymore in this in episode 8, right? In the final episode. So things like this is what I want, and hopefully we continue with that, I guess, as we end the story. But who knows, right? We're gonna go to Burn Castle. We're gonna find out. I mean, it's Burn Castle, right? Who knows what's gonna happen? Maybe they're gonna fight again. But hopefully it's better. So anyways, we are gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry, episode 8 in the next one. So I'll just see you then. Bye bye.